With Tim May from Letterman Row. Tim, lead us.
Sure will. Thank you very much. Tyler, as you look at y'all's rotation on the defensive line and stuff, how effective has it been from your vantage point to basically keep fresh guys in there, and who is really stepping up their game besides you on that front?
I think everybody's stepping up their game, and the rotation definitely plays a part for us too, keeping us fresh on the field. You know, no one has to stay out there for 60 plays a game, you know what I mean? So it's definitely a benefit and an advantage for us.
Yeah, and as you watch Indiana on video, Michael Penix Jr. seems to be another quarterback since the last drive against Penn State. He seems to be playing with a lot of confidence, et cetera. What just jumps out at you about him and the challenge on Saturday?
I think their ability to fight all 4 quarters really sticks out to me because, in my opinion, every year and every week, as you can see, Indiana's been getting better. You know what I mean? Their record right now speaks for itself. I think they're going to be a tough team. It's going to be a good challenge for us. He's a great quarterback.
Thanks, man.
And next, we will go to Stephen Means from Cleveland.com. Stephen.
Hey, Tyler, I don't know if this same logic applies to defensive linemen or not, but usually with rotations, I know it keeps you fresh, but is it harder to get into a rhythm out there on the field when, you kind of rotating as much as you guys do, especially with 5 guys?
I would just say you just got to be ready when your number's called, you know what I mean? Coach Jay's doing everything he can to keep us fresh, and I think that's the main goal. As much as sometimes people may want to stay out there for 4 or 5 drives in a row, it might not be best for us down the road, you know what I mean? So we're also playing for games down the road as well, thinking long term. So right now, just got to make sure you're ready to go in when your number's called.
Have you had that moment on the field where I understand that he's trying to do the best he can, but maybe you're in a bit of a groove out there, and then you're coming out the game, and part of you wishes, man, I need to stay out. Can I stay out here a little bit longer because I'm feeling it right now, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely happened to me in the past couple of weeks. I think it was a couple of drives I felt like I should have stayed out there. But once I come off to the sideline, it was all smiles and good vibes with Coach Jay because you already know the next person going in is going to be able to make some plays.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go next to Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Row. Spencer.
Tyler, how much easier is it to play defense when you're not starting with giving the offense a short field? Because Indiana seems to have started a lot of these drives that they're scoring touchdowns on against a lot of different teams with short fields. How much easier is it to know that a lot of times you're not going to have to start to play defense on a short field because the offense doesn't really turn the ball over?
Yeah, that'd be a real advantage for us, especially when you can make the offense try to play uphill instead of downhill. That always helps the defense. You got some space behind you. And, the plays are more limited, when they're all backed up. So that definitely helps us when they have a short field, longer field, excuse me.
All right, we'll go next to Patrick Murphy from 247. Patrick.
Tyler, there was a lot of stuff made after the Rutgers game about the limited number of stats from the defensive ends. But when you looked back at the game, what did you see that you guys did well? It sounded like you guys felt like you played well, regardless of the stats. What was indicative of that on the film for you?
We affected the way the quarterback threw the ball. If we can do that consistently, drive in and drive out, even though we may not get a sack, that helps our DBs. If we're in his face all the time, put him off the spot, take him out of his zone, his rhythm, that helps the whole defense. So it's always not about getting those big sacks, 3-sack games. Even though we have plenty of guys that can do that, we just like to play our role and help the whole defense.
All right, we'll go next to Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Yeah, Tyler, you were very complimentary about Indiana. But did you see this coming? I mean, I'm sure when you got to Ohio State, you probably never thought the biggest game of the year would be Indiana.
I definitely didn't see it coming, But as you can see, the whole Big Ten is kind of unpredictable this year. And every team is a little bit different than last year. So we always try to approach the new season with a new mindset and give everybody the respect as they should.
When you watch Indiana, what impresses you the most?
I think, like I said before, their ability to play all 4 quarters, and they're not going to quit. Regardless of how the score may look early on, they're going to keep fighting. We saw in that Penn State game how that went. Those guys, they're competitors over there. I think they got a great coach and a great program that's got their heads on straight right now.
Thanks, Tyler.
All right, we'll go next to Austin Ward from Letterman Row. Austin.
Tyler, how did you react on Wednesday last week when you found out you guys weren't going to get to play?
Oh man, I was hurt. I was hurt, man. But things happen. I know it happened to a couple other teams, so just gotta roll with the punches. I try to turn it into a positive. I got more time, get my legs under me, get my body right, and get a better understanding for the Indiana game plan. Things like that. So we just kind of took it, learned from it, and just carried on to the next day.
Thanks, man.
All right, we'll go next to Tony Gerdeman, Buckeye Scoop. Tony.
You came in with Nick Petit-Frere. You guys, I'm sure, have gone against each other quite a bit in practice over the years. How have you seen him grow, and were there any moments in practice where, I guess, things stopped maybe being as easy as they used to be against him?
Oh yeah, definitely. Nick, the improvements he's made from last year to this year is crazy. Like, especially if you watch him from freshman year to the point he is now, it's a completely different player. I think as far as his strength, his knowledge of the game, his understanding how to pass it, all that has improved significantly. And there's definitely been times I had to change up my rush just because, Dick has just made improvements to his game. Definitely a great tackle for us.
And you mentioned Indiana's not going to quit. How much of the second halves maybe haven't been, for a number of reasons, what the defenses wanted them to be? So how much is that a focus this week on finishing the game?
It's a huge focus for us, and not only this week, for the rest of the season. You can't fall off how we usually were in the past couple games in the second half. That's just not acceptable. So we're definitely going to emphasize that this week, and then hopefully continue to finish that out for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Got time for two more questions. We'll go to Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com. Nathan.
Tyler, the first couple games against Martinez, against Clifford from Penn State, I know containing the quarterback was a big focus. Penix hasn't run that much in his career. So I guess just where do you guys assess the threat of what happens, his ability to escape if you guys are to bring some pressure and get after him that way?
We just got to make sure he's uncomfortable. I think he's at his best when he's comfortable. He has his feet under him. And he's also a bigger quarterback, so when he's dropped back and his ability to see over the line, we can't let him be comfortable back there. I think our whole goal is just get him off his spot, get the ball out of his hands.
All right, and we'll wrap it up with Jeremy Birmingham from Leonard Monroe. Jeremy.
Hey, Tyler, kind of looking around the country, you see a lot of historical programs struggling, a lot of teams that almost seem to be lost in what 2020 has been. What makes the culture at Ohio State so different? And I'm not going to ask you to throw anybody under the bus, but guys that you know around the country at other programs, like, what do you hear from them that sounds different to what you experience at Ohio State?
I think it's just our culture. Our culture is very consistent here. Like I say, from my freshman year to my junior year now, things have changed slightly, but the culture has always been the same. We're always consistent. We're built off toughness and brotherhood. Regardless of what kind of players we got in the locker room, what coaches you have with the staff, regardless if it's your first year here or your 10th year here, you understand the culture. I think that's what makes us great.
Is that driven by the coaches or the players? And I guess I know it's created by the coaches initially, but how much of that now is driven by the players versus the staff?
It's created by the coaches for sure, but emphasized by the players. We got to be able to live by that. As much as we see it written on paper, if we don't actually live that life of loving each other and playing for each other, then it doesn't really mean anything. And I think the coaches do a great job every day reminding us about that.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All righty, Tyler. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Appreciate it. Thank you.